The video is trending about lawyer Deji Adeyanju accusing Peter Obi of several things, including that is or the political organization, the Obedient Movement, supporting the presidential aspiration of Peter Obi is very toxic, and that Peter Obi ought to be correcting, guiding and correcting the movement, because the movement is politically toxic in the sense that anything negative said about Peter Obi, rightly or wrongly, is taken with violent language by the members of the movement. But I don't want to dwell on that aspect of the accusation by Deji Adeyanju. Let me focus on 4 points. 1, that Peter Obi's corruption epitomized in his investing the Anambra State funds in his family business, and that when he raised the concern before Peter Obi defended himself by saying that he had already resigned from the company before becoming the governor. But of course, how will that be a tenable excuse? And so, if Peter Obi did that, then it is certainly reprehensible, unless there is more to it than that. So, I leave it like that. Then, that Peter Obi is a political harlot, jumping from one political party to another, including APGA, the All Progressive Grand Alliance Party, which he vowed that he will never leave, and even that something should happen to him should he quit APGA, and that notwithstanding he quit APGA into the PDP and then into the Labour Party, and that even now the PDP is negotiating with him about his coming back to the party. On that, let me say that life is dynamic. Life is not static, but dynamic. So if things are not well with you in one place, you relocate. Yes, you relocate. There's no condition is permanent. So, but that is my own reaction to that. In the third instance, that Peter Obi is a religious bigot. According to Deji Adeyanju, was it chairman of the People's Democratic Party or of APGA, I can't remember, that accused Peter Obi of being the cause of the division between the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church in Anambra State. Besides, according to Deji Adeyanju, Peter Obi told his own bishop, Deji Adeyanju's bishop, as a living faith, meaning Bishop David Oyedepo of the Winners Chapel, otherwise called Living Faith Church, that the presidential election was a religious war and that Bishop Oyedepo should support him. And on that basis, Deji Adeyanju says he called Peter Obi a religious bigot. So two things: creating division or face-off between the Catholic Church and the Anglican Church in Anambra State. But beyond what Adeyanju is saying, I've also heard that Peter Obi favored Catholic institutions, including schools and churches, and including schools and hospitals when he was the Anambra State governor. So these are the accusations in nutshell. Corruption about investing state funds in his family business. But of course, that's true. That accusation may be corrupt in the face of it, but in reality, was it a corruption? Because Peter Obi said he had little time, that he could not engage in too many projects, and rather than starting the projects and not finishing them, his successor will meet the money together with whatever interest it generated to execute projects that he could not execute. I'm not saying it was right or wrong, but I'm saying that we should not take it at the face value. If it was well-meaning, I don't know. But on the religious aspect, I've also been concerned about this religious sentiment of Peter Obi, that he is too religiously sentimental for the person needed by Nigeria, because the Constitution prohibits state religion and Nigeria's rulers are imposing Christianity on Nigeria, Christianity and Islam on Nigeria, to the extent that Bola Ahmed Tinubu came declaring all subsidies gone except for but funding pilgrimage boards and subsidizing pilgrimages for privileged Christians and Muslims. That is the extent to which Nigerians must be concerned about the politicization of Christianity and Islam, or any religion for that matter, because the Constitution is clear in Section 10, there shall be no state religion. So how can the rulers then be funding pilgrimage boards, for instance, and subsidizing pilgrimages, for instance? So why can't we, Nigeria, get leaders who will leave religion where the Constitution leaves it? But with the sentimental nature of Peter Obi, going to breakfast with Muslims that he did not fast with, hypocrisy, or going to Rome for the funeral of a pope and going back to Rome for the installation of a new pope. So, you see, Peter Obi does not look like the person who will take Nigeria to the promised land, because he will continue to impose Christianity and Islam on Nigeria. If only because whatever he does for Christianity, he must do for Islam. Vice versa. Which is not justice. Justice is that you stick to the Constitution that prohibits state religion, guarantees religious freedom for Nigerians. Violation of the constitution led to the war against the Boko Haram Muslim community. Not that the community offended Nigeria's constitution. Those who offended Nigeria's constitution are those who abused state power to attack the community, turning the community into a terrorist organization eventually, and making Nigeria to join the list of terrorist infested countries. So, now lastly, Deji Adeyanju says he would rather vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu's re-election than vote for Peter Obi if presented by the opposition political coalition. Now the question to Deji Adeyanju to tell us how Bola Ahmed Tinubu is better than Peter Obi because he invested the state funds in his family business. Not that he has not said he embezzled it, that he misappropriated the money into his own pocket, but that he invested state funds in his family business. I said, how do we know it was ill-intentioned and that it was not beneficial to the state? Because it's good to be objective. It's good to be objective. You have not said he misappropriated the money for himself, but invested it in his family business. What if his family business will yield dividend for the state? What if it will, And as for religious bigotry, because that's what the language or the term used by Deji Adeyanju. Yes, I agree with him in total. What is his name? Peter Obi is a religious bigot. He's too religiously sentimental for my liking. But you cannot take Peter Obi in isolation from the prevalence of politicization of Islam and Christianity. And it's happening because too many Nigerians are religiously sentimental. Otherwise, why did they not go on rampage on hearing that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, who declared fuel subsidy gone, all other subsidies gone, subsidized Hajj for Muslims with more than 90 billion, and that he keeps funding pilgrimage boards and subsidizing pilgrimages for privileged Christians and Muslims? Why did Nigerians not go on rampage? If did not that they are too Christianistically and Islamically sentimental. So if that is to change, Peter Obi will not change it unless Nigerians rise against the practice. So, but as long as Nigerians continue to be sentimental, trooping to churches and mosques and saying that Jesus is the answer, Quran is the solution. If any leader will not do that, he cannot even rule them. So Nigerians must wake up from their slumber. They have been injected with Christianity and Islam. They need antidote. The Constitution is the antidote that says there shall be no state religion. Religionists should attend to their religions. Nigeria has no religion, but Christianity and Islam are imposed on Nigeria because of the brainwash of weeping to church and mosque rather than turning to their creator God, who existed since time immemorial, since the beginning of the world, without church and mosque or synagogue. So that God is God. So among those to be healed is Peter Obi himself. So we have to, don't let us go sentimental. You will vote for Bola Ahmed Tinubu instead of Peter Obi because he invested state funds in his family business that may yield dividend for the state, because he could not have put 50 million there and expect to get the state to get the 50 million without interest. It's not possible. So, but it's religious sentimentalism, such as going to break fast with Muslims when you are not a Muslim and you didn't fast with them. It's hypocrisy. But as I said, it is encouraged by the overwhelming people trooping into churches and mosques, looking for God that is in their house, that is in their life. We are breathing the breath of God, who when he withdraws his breath from us, we are dead. So which God are you looking for in foreign lands? So that is it. So Peter Obi cannot do it alone. There must be protests, individual if not collective. Stop going to church. Educate your children against Christian and Islamic, what did Jesus call it? Yeasts. Educate your children against the yeasts of Christianity and of Islam and of religion altogether. Not religion like African traditional religion that is annual festival, occasion of joy only. No religious war, no crusade, no jihad. Occasion of giving thanks to God, divinities, and our ancestors. After which, the rest is sustaining our faith in God as our creator, responsible for our life, to bless our going and our coming, to bless our undertakings, to protect us, to guide us till another festival. So let us not take Peter Obi as the Lamb of God. He's not worse than Tinubu, who did what no ruler of Nigeria has ever done. Fuel subsidy, the non-existent fuel subsidy is gone, and it didn't go into making life better for Nigerians, but that all other subsidies are gone, and you say you prefer Bola Ahmed Tinubu to Peter Obi. Look at your level of prejudice and bias against Peter Obi. So we need to caution Peter Obi. I myself, I am not happy with his being too sentimental. I will want somebody who will put Nigeria, who will put religion where the Constitution puts it. And Peter Obi does not look like it to me. But that notwithstanding, human beings are what they are. They need to be corrected. They need to learn from experience. And they need to be told, the way you are going, we don't want it. We don't like it. This is the way we want you to go. If you are not, we rebel against you. That's what the Jews did against the house of David. When the children of Solomon said they have not seen anything, they have not suffered enough. It's okay. They abandoned him. They abandoned the son of Solomon, who told them that they have not seen anything yet. So learn to protest against the excesses of your rulers. Tinubu is untouched, despite declaring all subsidies gone and subsidizing pilgrimages for Christians and Muslims, funding their pilgrimage boards, imposing their pilgrimage boards and pilgrimages on Nigeria. saying they are going to pray for Nigeria in Saudi Arabia and in Jerusalem because God in Nigeria, God does not listen to prayer in Nigeria. Foolery galore. So, Peter Obi is not worse than any ruler we have had, with particular reference to Bola Ahmed Tinubu declaring all subsidies gone, a thing never done by anybody. So look at even Umaru Musa Yar'Adua. He imposed the war against Boko Haram Muslims on Nigeria, ravaging human lives and the economic resources of Nigeria since 2009 till date. Goodluck Ebele Azikiwe Jonathan squandered his 4 years fighting the Boko Haram Muslim community with suicide bombing and other bombings. Not to talk of Muhammadu Buhari, who also sustained the war and added herdsmen terrorism. And now Tinubu is sustaining the war, the herdsmen terrorism, and declaring all subsidies gone. So it's not a case of removing subsidy from fuel to subsidize education and electricity for Nigeria and paying workers living wage for Nigeria's economy to boost. No. Only claiming to be transferring funds to indigent households, anonymous indigent households, asking indigent students to come for loan. Haven't transferred funds to indigent households. Why should we have indigent students? And with this level of corruption, Deji Tinubu can say he prefers to vote for Tinubu rather than Peter Obi. So you can see how sentimental, how subjective you are. Deji Adeyanju, my brother, my friend.